Hi, my name's Stuart Quinn. As you know, I've been producing a few videos along the subject of my love of Indian motorcycles, which is getting very tested at the minute. Still love the brand. I think the bike Polaris produces is a very good bike. I just feel Polaris have lost the plot a little bit. I think they did lose the plot when they got rid of Victory. But anyway, this is a story of what's happened to me and what happens when you make a legitimate complaint about a dealership damaging your motorcycle, affecting the warranty, reducing the value of the motorcycle and putting your life in danger. But just little matters. So I continually been told I had to follow a set route on how to make the complaint. Obviously I complained to the dealer multiple occasions, never replied, has never replied in writing, and has not supplied the proper paperwork for work done, and certainly hasn't provided the proper paperwork for any warranty work, so there's no warranty history now for that motorcycle. This has been requested legally by subject access requests to the dealer, to Polaris Britain Limited and to Polaris Inc. So far all I've had back is, due to sensitive information, they cannot share that with me. Now if you've seen the other videos, you will have seen that I've made note that they have reference to pictures and reports sent to them by the dealer to say or prove that I misused the motorcycles. They have been the main part of the subject access request, but to date still have not been supplied, and the first one was issued on them in July, and they have 4 weeks to comply, or 28 days. A while back I also tried to contact the MCIA, who are the industry body for motorcycles. Polaris Britain Limited are a member, and the MCIA, they state they hold their members to a high standard, which at the minute I'm not convinced about. So the process of recording complaint, you have to go through the NCS, which I did report beginning of last year. They asked me to gain certain information, which I then wrote to the dealer, who failed to provide that information. I wrote to Polaris Britain, who failed to reply to that information or supply that information, and I also wrote to Polaris Inc, the CEO, and again no reply. The request for the arbitration has been ignored as well. So in regards to subject access request, it's a legal requirement. All I've had back from the privacy team was anything I request will have sensitive information on it, so they don't want me to see it, which is crazy. They're the people that are referenced into these documents as to why they're convinced I misused the bike, despite handing over £11,000 in 3 years to a dealer that basically couldn't fix the thing. The failure to complete the SAR has been reported to the Commissioner's office. So basically, in a nutshell, I'm probably 6-7 months on from the meeting when I thought Polaris were getting things sorted, but no, still haven't. I've had no real response or sensible response from Polaris Inc or Polaris USA, who don't seem to be bothered about the way a customer is treated. Polaris Britain, well, they can't be bothered to do anything, including current riders groups. They're not just don't want to put any effort in at all. So I did write to Polaris USA, to a contact I was given by a friend who lives in America, who said this chap was extremely helpful on the marketing side of things. So I wrote an explanation to him saying, you know, I've got this information, I don't want to put it on YouTube, but no one seems to be listening to me. Can someone do the decency or show me the respect of replying to me and listening to my legitimate complaints? The response I got from that was a letter from Polaris Poland, basically threatening me again, saying they've exhausted all avenues to satisfy my questions, which in a nutshell, basically, one is the fact that they're happy that the rear wheel bearings on a Roadmaster from brand new failed 14,000 miles, and they're happy that their representative dealer says that's normal, which is ridiculous. But again, nobody's put that in writing, nobody's answered it. So Poland, no, not been answered. Then you've got the question of, or the problem of 4 or 5 months of the dealer having the bike 5 times and not being able to sort out a brake issue, despite giving him all the information about freewheeling. All he was doing was changing pads and costing more money, and then that caused the clutch to fail. Now, the only sensible response I've had from Polaris to date is their UK technical team did confirm that the binding brakes and caused the freewheeling issue, which in turn caused damage to the pads, damage to the brake disc, and the clutch to fail. But in turn, then they say that's down to me misusing it. According to these reports and pictures, they won't supply me. So that sort of brings us up for date for this shorter version of what's going on. I just can't believe it. I can't get my head around none of it. You've got a high-end bike, it's cost me about £27,000. I tried to follow what I felt was a proper procedure for making a legitimate complaint, and the dealer doesn't care, he's not bothered, he's happy that he's charged me for work he hasn't done, and that being on the brakes, so he's happy he's put our lives in danger. Polaris Britain Limited are happy with the conduct of their dealer, and Polaris Inc are happy that their representative in this country, in the UK, is acted in this manner. It really just doesn't surprise me at all the way things are going. So I'm waiting on the MCIA or the NCS to do the report for the MCIA. I'm waiting on the Commissioner's office to get back to me about the subject access requests, and yeah, seeking further legal advice. It's looking like I'm going to have to take it to court, which is the last thing I want to do. It's just following exactly what they stated to me. Polaris Britain are happy for me to take it to court because they will throw money at me to make sure I go away. So that will cost them a lot more than just dealing with the situation. At the end of the day, all they got to do is make sure they train their dealers to a higher standard, put confidence back in an iconic brand, and just show your customers a bit of respect. That's all. When you're paying £27,000 for a motorcycle and then having to pay in 3 years £11,000 to keep it on the road, to then have people turn around and say to you, you misuse something that's designed for touring, and then they also turn around and say to you, well, actually, it's not designed for the climate in the UK, shouldn't be riding it half the year. You didn't tell me that when I bought it. It does sound a bit missold to me, but I think it's just to cover up for some reason not to deal with the dealer. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they don't want to take responsibility. Yeah, you would think they'd be celebrating a rider for putting miles on their bike to prove how robust their version of the Indian motorcycle really is. Because one thing I have said throughout all this, I love the bikes. I think they are a well designed bike. I don't like their dealer network. I don't like the fact that they don't allow independent service dealers to operate by encouraging them, to help them to create healthy competition, so they can then justify and keep the maintenance of the motorcycles to a high standard by doing that. When a situation like this is put in front of them, they don't know how to handle it. And I've had more experiences on the way they perform, especially with riders groups. They don't want to put any time into it, which is a shame, because a well-maintained customer service will only sell them more bikes. I will give an update to see where things are going, because there's so many different aspects of this still happening, and each time I progress something, I do copy in America. But that was the other thing Poland said to me. They said, you can't talk to America anymore. So they've started dictating to who I can talk to and who I can't talk to. So yeah, not very good. Up your game.